overseas buyers not behind Australian property price boom. Report. Foreign buyers are not to blame for Melbourne and Sydney's booming property prices, a Treasury paper has found. The Foreign Investment and Residential Property Price Growth paper, based on 5 years of research up to mid-2015, states that overseas buyers had only accounted for a small proportion of the increase in property prices in Australia in recent years. Demand from local buyers, driven by factors including housing supply, interest rates and financial regulation, had much more of an impact. The paper, published ahead of today's Reserve Bank decision to keep interest rates at 1.5%, notes that the level of foreign demand for Australian homes had increased strongly in recent years. This was driven largely by Chinese nationals, who accounted for about 70% of foreign investment approvals in early 2015, up from 50% in mid-2010. Despite this, their impact on Aussie property prices, made primarily in Melbourne and Sydney, had only been minor. The paper's statistical analysis determined that for a typical postcode in these cities, the increase in home prices attributable to overseas buyers equated to $80–122 in average in each quarter. This is small when compared to the average quarterly increase in property prices of around $12,800 in Sydney and Melbourne during the study period, the report said. The paper states that despite Melbourne receiving more foreign investment approvals than Sydney over its study period, price growth in NSW's capital had been much stronger than in its southern rival. It also disputes that offshore investors are pricing out Aussie first home buyers, stating that most overseas purchasers were snapping up new homes, while entry-level buyers typically sought established properties. The effects of foreign investment are often poorly understood, particularly with regards to residential real estate, the paper said. Australia's policy for foreign investment in residential real estate aims to increase Australia's housing stock. As such, applications from non-residents to purchase new properties are usually approved without conditions, but non-residents are prohibited from purchasing established dwellings. The majority of approvals have been granted for investment into new dwellings, which suggests that foreign demand is being channeled into increasing the property supply, as intended. Charles Pitter, chief executive of Chinese international property website Juai.com, said many Aussies found it just too easy to blame offshore for Melbourne and Sydney's hot price rises. But the report confirmed that foreign investment had huge benefits for the Australian real estate market and economy, he said. Most experts believe Sydney and Melbourne are heading for price slowdowns. If we want to keep adding new homes to the supply despite that, then we need to encourage foreign buyers rather than push them away. Samantha.Landy@news.com.au